Doing this activation, it was a lot of fun. I tried 3 times to activate the park. Completely unsuccessful the first 2 times, very successful the third time. This is about the third time. The first time I went to the Cibal Point Park in Lake Simcoe. Went there with my radio, my battery, my mobile antenna for the car, with a magnetic mount, nothing connected to the car. I tried to make it work, a lot of RF all over the place. The radio was locking, nothing was working. I couldn't activate the park. I said, something wrong here. I watched videos and I saw people doing what I did and had no problem whatsoever. I investigated what is the problem. The radio must be grounded to the car. I did that and I went to another park. There is a park between Newmarket and Bradford. I went there, I tried to activate that park. I already installed a grounding on my car to the radio. It was working much better. The radio was not locking, but I couldn't get the SWR down. I couldn't tune the mobile antenna, couldn't do it. And what I found is when you use a magnetic mount, especially in HF, it's isolated from your car. And it's some kind of capacitive thing in the air happening between the magnetic mount base and the body of your car. You have to ground the antenna. I installed another grounding spot on my car on the back, and I ground the magnetic mount. I went to another park, and everything works perfectly. So what is POTA? Parks on the Air. It's a radio sport program. It's not a contest. It's like SOTA summits on the air. It's like IOTA Islands on the air. It's like Lighthouse on the air. Encourage people to do portable operations. It's more or less like doing a winter field day or a summer field day whenever you want. And having a group of people that will try to contact you, because these people are the chasers or the hunters. You can be both. You can be an activator or you can be also a hunter. Or you can be both. When I went to the park, I was an activator. And when I'm home, I'm also hunting for parks. And I know we have an expert here. I don't know if he's still on the call. Charles Victor Alpha 3 Tango Bravo. He's an expert on POTA. He's on the top chart in there. He has like a 4,000 something contacts. A lot of noise where we live. This picture is from the first park. You see no grounding connection. I just throw my radio on my dash here on Cibal Point in Lake Simcoe. A beautiful view. My park against the lake. You see here on the meter, very low noise. Every park is different. You have the opportunity to enhance your portable kit. In my case, with the tuner now, if I want to try a different antenna, not just the mobile antenna. Also makes you a better operator and allows you to feel more comfortable operating on a pileup, because let me tell you, you will get a pileup. If you get some decent signal out, you will get a pileup, and pileups are fun. This is what I love of the contest. I don't participate in contests to score high or to win because I don't have a station to do that. But when I'm calling CQ in a contest and I get a pileup, it's a very nice feeling. And you will hear very nice comments from the people that I'm chasing, because maybe you activated a new park for them because they're in another park and they contact you. And this has more value when it's a park-to-park activation. So it's a very nice thing. The park that I was successful is the Earl Road Provincial Park in Alliston. It's an hour drive from here. My kids, my wife, they all came with me, mainly for the drive. I think they enjoy was a 1 hour over there talking on the radio, but I think the drive probably is the part that they enjoy. Here you can see the other parks that I tried before. One is this one, close to Bradford, and this is the other one. This is the Cibal Point Park. So I went first here, couldn't get it to work. And the other weekend I went this one, couldn't get it to work. Third weekend, I go to this park, everything works perfectly. And you can see there is a bunch of parks not too far from our area. We have this one here in Markham. You have 2 parks that you can activate. Oh, by the way, as you can see, I've done this from my car. You don't need to get off your car. You can, but you don't need to. I made 72 QSOs in less than 60 minutes. So I have a pileup. The antenna that I purchased cost me $60. So the cheapest antenna that you can get for your car allow me to do this activation. And this is what I use. I didn't have the auto tuner. The radio I already mentioned is the FT857D, which I got to use mobile. This is the antenna. It's a $60 antenna that works from 80 to 70 centimeter, yes. It's very versatile. This battery, 12 volts, 35 ampere hour deep cycle AGM battery. I didn't have this triple mount. I have the single mount. This is how I ground it. I got a copper plate. I make a hole and I put it through the connector, and then I soldered a copper braid. And I connected the copper braid to the body of my car. And the same thing I did with the radio, a copper braid to the body of my car. When I done those two tricks, beautiful. I don't have a permanent installation on my car. The idea is do this in the winter, and in the summer I use a bench in the park. You don't need to stay in your car. And try a different antenna, a wire or something with a tuner. Parks on there. It started as a small group, mainly volunteers. The volunteers do everything, the website, the rules, maintain the database, and also they process your logs. How you can join Parks on the Air? You need to create an account. To create an account is super easy. You can use Gmail account, a Facebook account, or an Amazon account to log in POTA, or you can just create one with your email if you want to. After you create your account, if you ever made a contact with an activator, you will see all those contacts, because who sends the logs is not the chaser or the hunter, is only the activator that send the logs. So as soon as I create my account and I log in, I found like a 50-something contact. And I say, oh, those are all the parks that I contacted before. Nice surprise. How does it work for the activators? Choose a park. You can go to any of those parks. You can go to parks that has been activated before. It really doesn't matter. You can always activate the same park. There will be always somebody that needs that park, because even if they have the park, it's a point to just to have a contact. Doesn't matter if you have the park or not. And you can find in the website all the parks like are close to us. So what you need to activate? You need to have a license in any radio, because you can activate in any band. So even a 2-meter VHF radio will do it. Any portable antenna, portable power, or access to AC power, because this is the other thing. If you go to a park, you can use power from the office. They let you connect in there. You don't need a battery. POTA doesn't say that you cannot use grid power. You need a logger that will export to an AV file, and you don't need the logger in the park. I log in paper, and when I came home, I type everything in my logger, and my logger export to ADIF. But you, of course, you can carry the laptop with you and log in real time in your laptop. Popular antennas, they are the self-supporting mast, ham sticks, Wolf River coils. I'm planning to build my own coil. The Wolf River coil is very simple coil to make, and with this coil you can tune any band. For maybe using in the summer from a bench, I'm planning to build one of those coils next. Alpha antennas, soda beans, body poles, screwdrivers. This is another one I would like to build with a screwdriver, and many more.
Is it pretty much any provincial or national park?
Yes, it also can be a reservation or a preserve, as long as that is in the POTA website, you can activate. The other thing is, if it's not there, you can see if they want to add it. Like, for example, this March thing here in Aurora. Maybe if I ask, they can maybe put it in there, and I don't need to go too far. I just can walk here to the marsh with a backpack.
Things I did notice on the site right now is one of the parks that is activated is a municipal park in Markham. So that's possible.
Exactly, as long as it is in the website. To activate Parks on their reference for you is to make it 10 QSOs or more. But suppose that you make 9 QSOs and you cannot get any more contacts. It's good if you still send the log, because you will give the point to those 9 people that contacted you. That activation is not going to count for you because you need to make 10 contacts to activate, but at least you're a good person because you give those 9 points to those people that help you. So you always have to send the logs even if you don't get to the activation point. Once you get the 10th QSO, you reach your goal, which is the activate the park. You can use any band, any simplex mode or satellite, but you cannot use repeaters. So if you make contact from the park on 146.520, that is good. And if you make 10 contacts with a handy talkie, that is a good activation. Also, there are no specific frequencies. There is no specific exchange. It's like a DX contact, very quick. This is the other thing I like. I am not a rack chewing guy. Sometimes I do, but I don't talk more than 5 minutes with somebody when I'm on the radio. You log the date, time, the band, and then you have to export to ADIF and send to your coordinator. The coordinator is K. The number in your call sign, like in my case, is 3. Most of us is going to be 3. It's going to be the same coordinator for all of us. Is k3@parksonair.com. You send your AD file to that email address, and in 24 hours, more or less, they process your file, they make sure the file is correct, and they put it on the website.
Did you advertise ahead of time that you're doing it?
Yes, it's not a contest. You are encouraged to spot yourself. POTA, POTA.us, that is the spotting website. You can spot yourself on that website or in any other cluster or in both. And that is going to be more successful if you spot yourself. This is one thing related just to spotting. But also in the same website, you can schedule the activation. You can say, on Saturday, between this time and this time, I'm going to be on the park reference Victor Echo 0198 on 40 meters. And then the chaser, the hunters, they look for that information. I do that. When I'm hunting, I look for that. Who is activating? And I've been very successful lately since I started doing that. So this is how you do it, Alex. Tip for hunting. Check for the POTA scheduler for any planned activation. I already talked about that. Follow social media for pop-up activations. There is a Facebook group for POTA. This is the URL. Sign up for Slack to receive instant POTA spot on your phone or desktop. Then use phonetic or QRS if necessary. Observe the DX code of conduct, like I told you before. It's more or less like DX. And also a good thing to do is spot the POTA spotter, or if you prefer, to a cluster with the comment. My login software does this automatically. When I log in my login software a POTA reference, I hit the button to submit the spot, automatically does this. Why will you enjoy hunting POTA activators? You will be helping another amateur to reach the goal, like if I go to a park. It was funny, when I was in that park in Alliston, I got somebody from Alliston in 40 meters. Easy short contact, great for new HF operators. You don't have to send your log. So you can chase hunt parks. You don't have to worry about sending your logs. You have to wait for the activator to send the log. It makes you a better operator and keeps your skills sharp. It will make friends from all over the world because it's a community. And hunting is more or less the same people. These people move from park to park, and you start like building a friendship with these people. I love that. And the same thing on the Facebook group. People put pictures in there on the parks. It's very, very nice. I really love it. You can hunt as much or as little as you want. You don't need to register to hunt, but if you register, you can see your stats. The other thing which I also do is you can help the activators by relaying things like park to park. If somebody's calling and maybe they don't hear, you have to think that when I'm activating, I am in a very compromised situation. There is a compromised antenna, power, it's very limited. On top of that, you get another park. You're talking to another person that is in a very similar situation to you. So that is like a field day. Two people with compromised portable configuration is very exciting. I got this when I got 50 unique parks. So this is an sample award. The only thing you need to remember is parksonair.com. From there, you can find everything. There is a link here to the YouTube Hunters course. It's a playlist in YouTube. It's very, very nicely done, very professional videos, and you can find more information in there. Also, I got the idea to put this deck together from an Alpha Zero Oscar original presentation that he did for the St. Petersburg Amateur Radio Club. I want to mention that.
Question for you, Pablo, and it actually ties to your little tuner and your activations. Have you considered putting together a single unit Go kit?
I consider that. The only thing I've done now, I just purchased a very cheap case, which is very cheap. It's a gun case. It's for 4 guns. It's not waterproof, I plan to put the FT991 alpha, the FT857B, and the tuner and other things in that case. I've seen so many beautiful racks like this, the POTA guys put together. They're impressive.
There's no reason to wait, Pablo. Your presentation was excellent. I saw your video of you actually working a pile up, and I wish all of the activators were as effective and as efficient as you were. A couple minor things. All of the parks have to be national or provincial parks. Now, the one in Mark is somehow tied into the province. The one here in Holland Landing is 10 acres that the province owns that's supposedly Ontario prairie, but it's covered in red pine trees, that nonsense. But you can ask to have parks that are not already designated as part of POTA to be so designated, although Canada has been a little bit slow. We have in Ontario 821 parks, but only a handful in our areas where the population is concentrated. Pablo mentioned the idea of friends, and it's really extraordinary. I have talked to a number of people. The award system in POTA tells you how many times that you've talked to different people. So I've chatted with some people between 150 and 200 times. We end up with these unusual friendships on the air, the same way that you would if you were involved in the net and that kind of thing. POTA is not limited to the United States and Canada. There are 8,200 plus POTA parks in the US. There's over 5,000 in Canada, but they have expanded into about 24 countries now. POTA started after the National Parks on the Air program some 5 years ago, so it's relatively new. It took until about last summer for the first million QSOs to occur on Parks on the Air. There's now more than 2 million, and the growth is absolutely explosive. Internationally, there's a second similar one, which is largely European in nature. And there's no competition between the two. The other one is called Worldwide Flora and Fauna, or www.ff.co.co. The rules are very slightly different, but it's basically the same thing that Pablo explained. If you're a hunter, you don't put in a log. If you're an activator, you do. They're a little sticky on some things. They want you to conclude your QSO not with 73, but by saying 44, because that stands for earth, wind, fire, and water, crunchy granola, things like that. The two, in fact, overlap, and about a third of the parks on the air that I had contacts with here in the United States and Canada, those activators are part of Worldwide Flora and Fauna. On Worldwide Flora and Fauna, I have my hundreds of awards from North America, but I also have them from Antarctica and Oceania and South America and Africa and everything else. So by getting involved in one, you can register with Worldwide Flora and Fauna, and you find you've got yet another series of parks and awards that you've done. But the joy of it is it's not a contest. Will emphasize you get to work on any band, on any mode, whenever you want, and you don't have to worry about submitting a log to match it up.
Thank you so much, Charles. I started sharing my screen again because I wanted to show how many contacts you have.
Oh, no, I'm not. The top in the world is this guy, VA3TTB in London. Yeah, I started about a year ago. Well, thank you. Anyway, it's fun. I enjoy it. I've gotten my 6-year-old grandson to do hunting with me, and it's extraordinary because the guys stop and talk to him. At times, the conversations are personal. I wasn't on the air for about 6 weeks in the fall, and as soon as I came back on the air, people who I had contacts with immediately said, I haven't heard you on the air. I know you had cancer. Are you okay? That kind of thing. And I thought, that's really interesting. It goes beyond more than just 5'9" and then going on to the next QSO.
I wanted to show the dashboard that they put together. If you sign in, you can sign up from here, from this page. I didn't use Amazon or Google or Facebook. I just created one with my email. You sign in, you will see your stats. And you can see here, I have only one activation. You can see as a hunter, all the states that I have, all the parks that I have 70 parks now, and I made the same number of contacts. The spots is a different website, it's POTA.us. It's unbelievable. There is active spots at this time. Wow.
K9ZIE is Ryan out of Wisconsin. He works, and so he activates late evening on the way home, and he uses FT4, FT8, JT9, things like that. WA5 and WB5 are friends in Louisiana who not infrequently activate parks together. Great guys to talk to.
Today I was running on FT8 and I saw someone put out CQ POTA. Is that a guy that's a hunter or is he an activator?
He's an activator. When people do that, sometimes when they put in their 7.3 at the end, they will stick in a K number. It'll be K1234. Internationally, the separation between POTA and WWFF, instead of being K, it's KFF, and in Canada, instead of being BE1234 for POTA, it's BEFF1234. So they may do that. If they don't list the park and you want to know what it is, sign up for POTA and then go into your list of hunted parks. You will see all the parks that you have ever hunted without knowing it for the last 6 years. It is absolutely explosive. A couple weekends ago, there was one point where I counted 38 parks activated at the same time. Many people activate multiple parks in a day. I mean, I talked to one guy today, he was on his 9th park activation of the day. It constantly changes as the day goes on, but the number of participants in POTA has doubled in the last 10 months. There's over 8,000 people who are now hunters or activators. And I'm starting to hear on the HF bands, some people complaining that there are too many parks on the air being activated.
Are you allowed to use 17 meters?
Yeah, that's it. You use any band. Because it's not a contest, you can use the YRARC bands. Because I have had very few
Interesting.
QSOs.
That probably really pisses people off.
Yeah, it's great. And you use any mode.
Thank
This
you.
is how I learned to do CW, because I thought, gee, if the exchanges are simple and it's not a contest, I can go slow. So I have, I don't know, maybe 400 or 500 CW contacts now on parks on the air.
Somebody asking what frequency you can use on the spots. There are people that activate in 146, 520.
Generally, you don't activate in what are the US extra frequencies, that is below 7.175 megahertz. You can, but it's just you'll only get people with limited licensing.
You can take your laptop and your radio and you can do FT8 POTA from the park and activate the park only in FT8 if FT8 is your thing.
The conservation areas don't qualify yet. It's a little different. In the US, many of the conservation areas are under state authority, and so they are regarded as parks that can be activated. Here, it's not so yet. I would love it if it changes, and it'll take a little bit of pressure on the Canadian coordinators to bring about that change.
Toogood Park and Millen Dam in Markham are both Toronto Conservation Authority.
Somehow or other, there's a provincial tie-in in those, and I'm not sure what it is, but I was surprised that they were given a POTA status.
Rouge Park just transitioned to federal management. Does it count?
It's on there.
That one right
Yeah,
there,
we got
Bob
it.
Hunter. That's the one. Nice.
If the parking lot is inside the park, you don't need to get off your car. You can activate from the parking lot.
And the parking lot for that is inside the park.